organized KD, we will leave the work for you. Anybody will be quick.
This evening, our most disgraced bill Father come back to our team. Father, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, Father. Father, we ask you to watch over tonight and board out of the city. That's what this city needs to do. Father God, we ask you to watch over the city and shade. As you look in on the grave, Father, all over the world now. Father God, we ask you to give us travel grace and lead us. God, we just we pray.
Like KD. Good. Up first is a rezone, public hearing to rezone east side, Oxford Loop, 800 block, 588, 590, 592, 614, 618, and 616. From, what is that, ag to, what is that, SNT?
SNT.
Okay. So is anybody here concerning that? Yes, you want to say something? No.
Let the chair want to speak first.
Oh, you want to?
I may be able to save a lot of time on questions and just go through a presentation of what I think they're going to have questions about, and then open it up and let them ask them.
Okay, that'd be good.
If that's okay with y'all.
Yes.
Thank y'all for having me. Neighbors, thank y'all for taking time to come and listen to what all I'd like to do. I appreciate y'all's input. Appreciate the board's input. As y'all know, background on me, I'm Terry Young, general contractor here in New Albany. To give you a background on my construction history, I built 228 units in the city limits of New Albany, 16 in Union County, 58 in Fayette County, 1 in Pontotoc, 1 in Tippah, 304 total residential units. The majority of my career has been concentrated in the city limits of New Albany. 29,000 square foot of new construction, commercial, 21.5 of tenant build out, 15,000 commercial remodel. I also do framing and siding and roofing subcontracting. Done these are old stats. I'm just over 4 million square feet of framing, just over 600,000 feet of siding, and about 14,000 squares of roofing. So I come into this development with a large background of experience in new construction, and both in residential and commercial, and remodeling as well. What I would like to do is continue to do what I've tried to do in the city of New Albany, which is add to our housing inventory, because everybody knows the whole country is sort of in a housing crisis, but we're definitely one in New Albany. Unfortunately, with inflation and the cost of development, it is not conducive to bring in affordable housing by means of new construction. The cost is just too high, the bars too high to get over for first-time home buyers. So what I'm wanting to do with this neighborhood is bring in affordable housing by opening up our existing inventory of affordable housing that current citizens of New Albany, or people looking to move to New Albany, currently live in. Real estate's kind of a tricky thing. A lot of people want to talk about the market, whether it's there, whether it's not. A huge part of the real estate market, whether or not it's successful, is whether or not you actually have adequate inventory and are providing desirable products for people. This has not been the case historically in New Albany. There have not been a lot of speculative building going on in New Albany since really the early 90s. You had some, you had a lot in the 70s, a little bit in the early 2000s. But the reason why new construction is important and speculative building is important is because from an appraisal standpoint, which is what's required for a bank to give you a loan, they have to appraise your house. Well, appraisers are not allowed to use a comparable sale if it has not been run through the MLS system, the multi-list system. They're not able to use it if it's over 12 months old. So the problem that's persisted in our county and in our city that has held back development and new construction is that since all of our construction is custom built, Brian Manning, Jonathan Morrison, Greg Conley, David Lanigan, me, Brad Willard, I could name countless contractors, and we're all busy as we've ever been. We have been that way for the last Some of it's 10 years, some of it's 5 years. But all that gets built is custom construction. So while we're building the type houses that I want to build to provide for your Aldermen, none of those houses are allowed to be used as comparable sales. And so with that being the case, all of our appraisals are based off of comparable sales. We're trying to compare a brand new construction house to something built in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. And it doesn't work. Appraisals come back less than what it costs to actually build it before there's profit or land or anything. So it's been an issue in the county for a long time. Some of my neighbors can probably attest when they were building their homes that they did not appraise. And so to battle that, what I want to do and what I think the market is demanding is that I want to provide desirable homes, that people that live in existing homes that they bought because there wasn't an option for what they really wanted. So instead of paying a premium for what they really wanted and have what they really want, they had to settle. And since they settled, you're not going to pay a high price for something that you're going to settle on. But those people still desire to have nicer homes, more modern homes, the creature comforts that you get with new construction. And so the way to open up a housing inventory from an affordable housing standpoint in a city like this is not by going out there and building a bunch of rent houses and a bunch of low-end homes, because there's zero profit in them. And since there's no profit in them, they don't get built. The way you open up affordable housing is you open up your existing home inventory. The way you do that is you provide a viable option for people that are living in your existing inventory. Move out of those, make them available for new people coming in, and people afford the nicer things. Allow people to move out of existing into new construction and open up inventory that way. Because in new construction, y'all seen some of the developments that I've done, Parkview subdivision, the subdivision there on Scarlet Avenue, Huntington Point, the Park Place Apartments. I've done all of those to try and hit market needs at different times. Most recent one was the one on Scarlet Avenue. Are all familiar with it. I started that development, the first 6 houses built in there. I made some decent money. After that, I've made nearly nothing and lost money in a lot. Interest rates, when they got down 2 or 3%, I could hit them the first time on buyer market and build a 14, 15 square foot house, make a profit, and move on. Now, the last 9 lots in that development, since I built when rates were 2 to 3%, I'm building those out to get the value for my lot and making no money off the house. Small houses are just not conducive to generating a profit in new construction. They're not. I wish they were, but they aren't. That's why you don't see single family developments go in really anywhere unless they're over 2,000 feet, because your lot, your driveway, your landscape, your bathrooms, your kitchen, your driveway, all those things, whether it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, it's 2,000 feet or 1,000 feet, all those items are going to cost the same to each house. You just have more footage spread it out over on one and less on the other. So the smaller you build a house, the higher per foot. The larger you build a house, the less per foot. But there is a certain point that you have to have so many square feet to overcome the cost of materials and development to be able to make money. 1,400 to 1,800 square foot range is not that range. I've tried it, and if I didn't have other sources of income, I would have gone broke trying it. But we got a lot of land in the town. I want to see the town grow. And back in 2010, I took the approach of no one's going to build spec houses in New Orleans. I will. I will establish values so that it will become profitable for developers like myself, but hopefully other developers to come in and add to the inventory because they can make money. That has been a fight that I feel like I've fought nearly on my own since then. First new construction house I built in New Orleans was a pre-construction appraisal price for $86 a square foot. I told the real estate agent to list it for $110. She told me I was crazy. There's one way that you won't get a price, and that's if you never ask. So it pre-appraised for $86. I told her to list it at $110. I sold it at $96. Did it again. Pre-construction appraisal now was at 96. I provided a comp. I told them listed at 120. You're crazy. You'll never get it. I sold it for 108. After that second house, I started the Parkview subdivision. In the Parkview subdivision, my price point started out at 116 a foot. Again, you're crazy. You'll never get it. Pre-sold 5. You build a desirable product that people want, and they have the option to buy it over something that they don't want. They will pick what they want because we all have limited time on this earth. We all want to enjoy our lives with our family. We want to be able to do it in an environment that we want. So if you give people the option, they will take advantage of it. This town has never given people an adequate option, and that is what I'm wanting to change. So I'll get into the meat and potatoes of it. As you know, I live at 582 Glendale Road. I purchased my house from my dad 3 years before he passed, built him a house next to me. When I purchased his house from him, it had been 24 years since he built it. The house was built in 1994. So outside of Miss Bostwick, I've lived adjacent to this property longer than any neighbor that I have. When my parents got divorced, I lived in the neighborhood that's directly beside it. I grew up in those woods playing paintball with my friends. I never lived more than a quarter mile away from there, so I'm very familiar with it. What I'm wanting to put in is the double gate subdivision. It's a name that my father named. It was after a subdivision that he did in Georgia. I moved from Albany, Georgia to New Albany, Mississippi. So I kind of bring some nostalgic things in, but what is before y'all for approval is phase 1 of a 6-phase development. The 6-phase development is comprised of about 67.5 acres. The total property that we purchased is 80 acres. I am keeping a portion behind my house because I have to have an area for stormwater detention on the existing neighborhood that's beside me. So rather than use part of the development to retain that water, I'm creating a lake feature that you'll be able to see from my house, Ms. Bostwick's house, and from the neighborhood that will retain the water from that existing neighborhood so that that does not add to my stormwater runoff that I will be contributing to by the new development. It's in 6 phases. What I'm trying to do is to keep the prestigious nature of the neighborhood as it is intact. So if you look on the screen here, you'll see phase 1. You can see Terry Young, Crystal Young. That's my personal home there on the top right corner. Next to me is Miss Bostwick. Then you'll see 3 lots. Those lots are going to be grand estate lots. So those lots will be a 3,000 square foot heated and cooled minimum. They're approximately 1.74 acres with the exception of that one that's on an angle. It's a little less than that. I think it's 1.5 something. But there will be 3 lots there next to Miss Bostwick and in between Miss Bostwick and Kenny and Sandra. That will be the grand estate lots, 3,000 square foot minimum. Come to the other side, you have 3 lots that face Glendale Road and then 3 lots that face Oxford Loop. The 3 that are those 6 lots are my premier estate lots. They're going to have a 2,500 square foot heated and cooled minimum. And then where you see phase 1, 17 lots written there, that those 2 lines that are closer together, that is the access road that will be in between lots, I believe, 8 and 9, that will access the rear of the property in the future. Once you get south of phase, that little road, I have an additional 14 estate lots. Those are going to be a 2,000 square foot minimum. What I've done, if you visited the property, is those lots are down Oxford Loop are 100 by 440 feet roughly. My plan and what I've executed on all that was possible is I plan on leaving a tree buffer on the rear of those lots. So of the 440 feet, I'm only clearing about 200 feet across the front. I'm leaving the trees in the back to create a buffer between my state lots and the phases in the back. Now, the exception of that would be the last two lots, lots 16 and 17. They did not have any hardwood trees behind them, and so they will not have the buffer, but they will be the state-sized lots. So that's what I'm asking for approval on today is phase one, but I'd be remiss to not go over what is in the future because I believe that's what my neighbors would probably have more of an issue with. Like I said, phase one is going to be targeted to, if approved, start site contracting in September so that we could be building houses on Oxford Loop on lots 9 through 14 in the spring. I anticipate that phase one will take 2 to 5 years to develop, and I'm banking that phase and all other phases on taking 2 to 5 years. Obviously, if they go faster than that, I will build them as fast as possible. If anyone is familiar with Oxford Commons in Oxford, I do all of the framing, siding, and roofing in that development. So we've done 72 units a year on average there for the last 8 years. So I have the capacity to run volume if the market responds to volume, and then I have the capacity to sit back and let it take its time. I have up to 5 years per phase to do this. Now, like I said, phase one, you've got 3,000 square foot minimum, 6 2,500 square foot minimum, and then the rest, which is 8 lots or 2,000 square foot minimum. The future phases will be on smaller lots. The reason being is without road construction being a requirement in phase one, my cost in phase one is the cheapest cost in all of this development. Now, I'm an open book, and I would like to illustrate why now is the time to do this development by saying some numbers out loud that we normally wouldn't hear developers repeating. I'm going to kind of tell the business a little bit. I paid $734,900 for that chunk of ground that this development will go on. It was a bid situation against another person. His bid was $675,000. So, knowing those numbers that I paid for the land, I'm not going to include those numbers in the numbers I'm going to show you to illustrate why, if you wait on development and you keep pushing the ball down the road, it only gets more and more impossible to grow your town and grow your inventory. When I did the Park Place subdivision across from Park Place Apartments, my cost, so my land and all development costs, totaled $31,000 in that development. That was no profit. That was just exact cost, land, and improvements. Now, with this development, phase one, I've got about $387,000 cost. Phase two, I've got a $1.2 million cost. Phase three, 1.2. Phase four, 1.3. So on and so forth. Per average on my lots in cost before any interest to carry it from the time of development to the time of sale, without any profit, without any extra at all, my blended average between phase one and phase six is going to be $56,000 of direct cost without profit, without interest, and without my land value. Now, on Starlin Avenue, I'm working off of a $40,000 lot value. Those lots are for 1,400 to 1,700 square foot houses. A 1,400 square foot house with $40,000 lot average, for me to have a net profit of 9%, I need to sell a 1,400 square foot house for $335,000. Small houses is not where you're going to grow your inventory. Where you can grow your inventory, the second-time home buyers, the people that actually have the funds to be able to build what they want, if they don't appraise, cover the difference. They move out of existing homes, into new homes, opening up that old inventory. So that's why I'm targeting this bigger size. I'm not building the smaller stuff. I would love to. I've tried. There's 3 on 2nd Street. There's 1 on Garfield. There's 5 on Butler Avenue. There's 22 over on Starling. There's no money. And I can't continue to develop and try to fix the problem by attacking it the wrong way. I've got to attack it in a way that is actually profitable and marketable. And that means I need to build the houses that we are building on a daily basis as custom houses. Jonathan Morrison will build 10 this year. They're all over 2,200 square feet and they range from 2,200 to 3,200 square feet. Brian Manning will build 9 this year, same range. Brad Willard will build 7 this year, same range. All of us are building every day as many as we could build in this size range that I'm targeting. And the market is there for them. Would I like it to cost less? Absolutely. But one thing I do know is that it's going to cost more later. I've been building for 20 years and it just consistently went up the same amount every year for 20 years. So it is my opinion that now is the time to move forward with this development. I do believe that I'm being a good steward to my neighbors and protecting the fabric of the existing neighborhood by putting deep restrictions on the square footage size on the ones that are budding Glenfield Road. Also, if you notice on Starlin Avenue, I'm not a cookie cutter developer that picks out 3 plans and gets rinse and repeat 100 times and builds the same house over and over and over and over and over again. If you go into the house on Starlin Avenue, of those 30 lots, there will be 4 repeats. Outside of that, they're all unique houses. It is my goal, and I've provided the neighbors with a list of plans that I've approved for phase 1. It's my goal to not have a single repeat in phase 1, if possible. Now, there are some homeowners that just love a plan, and I will force them to make minor changes to them if I have someone that says, I will not buy a house unless I can buy that house on this lot. Okay, well, we're going to have to change it up. We're going to have to change the siding configuration, the brick configuration, or do some things to make it look different. Because I don't want a cookie cutter neighborhood. I don't think anyone does. So, you know, to sum it all up, I am asking for phase 1 to be approved as ag, from ag to SN10. The future phases will go from ag to SN5. It will be split up into 6 different phases. There is one component of this neighborhood that potentially has a possibility or a market need that could be filled. Phase 6, which is the orange phase. This town needs a retirement community or a community that has a retirement phase in it. I am considering in phase 6 doing a 55 and older retirement section that I would build and keep as a high-end rental to seniors only. If I didn't do that, I would do more of a body style that would be for sale, targeted seniors. But I'm trying to hit all points of the market, 1,700 square foot to really the sky's the limit. My house is 7,000 feet. My neighbors' houses range from 5,000 to 7,000 feet. So if someone wants to come in and build the Taj Mahal, I'm not going to tell them they can't, but I'm not going to go out there and build spec houses. In phase 1, less than 2,000. In any of the other phases, less than 1,700. And I'm going to respond to market demand, but I do believe that based off of the range of square footages that I've designed and how I'm phasing it, that I'll be able to meet all those market needs while protecting the fabric of the neighborhood and increasing property values. That's something that I would like to touch on to close. You know, some people don't like property values going up until they go to refinance their house or they have an emergency and they need to get a home equity loan. When I started building houses in Albany, Mississippi, which was 228,000 units ago, the new construction appraisal value was $86 a square foot. It is now at $193 or higher, and it's only going to go up. But it's only going to go up and new construction continues to drag it along. 60 to 70% of the increase in value in existing homes over the last 15 years has come because new construction sitting there saying, this is what new construction costs, which allows the existing homes to rise up to that, but be at a discount to it. That's what drives property values and increases and tax dollars and everything that is a key ingredient to making the town grow. And that's all I'm trying to do is take a piece of property that I've lived next to longer than anyone but Miss Possibly and improve it while also putting some money in my neighbor's pockets and providing a need that is desperate need in the world.
You had just phase one tonight, right?
Phase one tonight, right?
God, Doc, you had a question?
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit.
Okay, yes.
First of all, I'm not here as a hostile, but I do have a lot of questions, and I kind of like to get a couple of things across to y'all, because I've lived on Oxford Loop for the past 15 years. You put the map back up there for me, Terry. If you notice the bottom left corner, the blue, my house is directly across from right here. Okay. So I drove today just to survey kind of what we've got. Currently, Oxford Loop runs between Glendale Road and Highway 30. Okay. Everybody knows this road is a cut-through road. Sometimes 18-wheelers try it and never successful. But there's 14 driveways currently on this road. So it's very low population. Houses have very big lots on my side. And I've seen this property across the street for the past 15 years. I'm not naive enough to think it's never going to be developed. Okay? I knew it was coming one day. My problem is kind of how it's being developed and what's going to be put there and how dense it is. Like I said, they're asking right now just for the 17 lots, which I understand, which are the estate lots he's talking about. My problem is going to be when it comes further, because you're going to have two outlets to this neighborhood. Now, there's, Terry, pull it back down where you can see the lots on the on Glendale side. There's 3 there and there's 3 the others. So there's a total of 165 lots going in this neighborhood. 6 are on Glendale, so I'll take those out, so you get down to 159. Let's average, everybody has at least 2 cars. Okay, so suddenly on our street, you're fixing to add a potential of 300 vehicles coming out each morning. I don't know if anybody's come down to Highway 30 on Oxford Loop in the morning, but it's not easy to get out because there's a lot of traffic. I know Munford Road was built years ago, but half the 18-wheelers coming through do not use it. They come right up Highway 30. It's a very tight spot and hard to get out. Now, I don't have any trouble with the development. What I'm having a problem with, if you also notice right across from my house, the blue, that street runs all the way back through the entire development. So having laid it out that way, 65%, I know there's another street at the top, but it's going to be easier for 65% of all the traffic to come out of there onto Oxford Loop right there and dump out onto Highway 30. There's a stop sign right there where Shady Lane Avenue runs in. And there's also several houses right there with small children that are picked up by school buses in the morning as well. So you can have this huge amount of traffic. I know this is over years, I understand that. But eventually it's going to become a congestion problem because it's such a short road. So my thing is, I understand these state lots, I understand it's going to be developed. That's not what I have concern about. I have concern about how much traffic in the future. And what I'd ask Terry to do, if he would, is somehow come back, because like right across from my house, I'm going to have 24 houses directly across the street from me. And they're all going to be coming out in that first space. That's 50 extra cars every morning coming out right there. And you got to understand that we only have 14 driveways. Even Shady Lane Avenue, which is below us, the neighborhood that comes off, you can't see it here, it's got 24 houses, but it also has a back outlet that goes directly to 30. So they split. So it's like 14 houses one way, 14 houses the other way. You're only talking about 28 or 30 cars coming out to Highway 30. But this development potentially is going to put over 300 cars. And that's saying that some houses have 2. Now, the estate homes, like my personal house, we have 4 vehicles. Some of these estate houses are going to have more than 2 vehicles. So you're looking at probably between 300 and 350 vehicles coming out of this. And you can say they go back up to Glendale, and 90% of them are going to go down to Highway 30 going out to work or wherever they go. And my concern is the layout in the future, because these smaller lots eventually also, I I just know how it goes. Eventually, are you gonna constrain people that they can't make them rental houses if they build them? There's gonna be a covenant that they cannot be rental houses.
Yes, there are deed restrictions on square footage, type of material, and along with myself, there's an exclusive group of contractors that I plan on bringing in. Brian Manning, Jonathan Morrison, Greg Conley, and Dave Van Lanningham. Now, most of you are familiar with all of those except for maybe Dave Van Lanningham. On the way to Oxford, there's a development on the right called Mayfield. There used to be a big house at the end with trees down both sides of the driveway. You tore that down, put it in the neighborhood. That's Dave's development, and he built all those houses. He's a high-end builder and developer, and all these other guys are the cream of the crop when it comes to custom home builders in our area, and the ones that have the most experience. So, yes, I'm going to be the exclusive contractor. They will not be able to be built as rentals. They will be required to be built and sold, with the exception of maybe that phase 6 that I do the retirement concept in.
Have y'all done a traffic study to see about vehicles coming through?
I have not done a traffic study. I would say that the neighborhood behind Walmart, the Mango Hill subdivision, it has 2 exits, as does this one. It has 140 lots where I have 175. If you look at the Robbins neighborhood, which is directly next to this neighborhood when I used to live in, it has 1 exit. I'm not sure how many houses are in there, but I believe it's close to 80. There are multiple points to get in and out of the neighborhood. I do concede the fact that, it would be better if there was a better road leading towards Highway 30 from this development, but I don't own that city right away, and I'm not allowed to improve that road at home. But I do think that tax dollars that will be brought in with this development, that's something that on the city's plate in the future. Again, I'm trying to design a traditional neighborhood, not a suburban neighborhood, with a Ryan group that has redone the planning and zoning. They're making a big push here as well as Oxford and every other town to get away from the suburban sprawl development type where the lots are oversized, the density is not dense enough, and you wind up using up all of your most valuable land and most desirable land for a very small density amount. I've tried to go with a grid pattern on the development just because it is the cheapest way to develop. That's why traditional development was done that way, is because, cost is a factor.
But Terry, on the blue lots right across from me, what size houses are you expecting?
1,700, 500 square feet. Those lots
Are there going to
are,
be 0 lot lines?
no, those are 70 by 160, which is bigger than the lots at Parkview. So every lot in this phase 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, well, 2, 3, 4, and 5, every one of those lots are the size or bigger than the Parkview subdivision.
Okay, my next question is, why did you not bring the estate lots all the way down Oxford Loop and then punch through with your road in the middle between those lots and push the smaller development to the back and keep all estate lots on the front?
The reason I didn't is if you look, there are 12 lots that are on either side of that 450 some odd feet of road. In development, if you can't build on both sides of the road, you're increasing your lot average and you're decreasing your affordability. I will be able to get 12 lots on that 450 feet versus if I do estate lots, I would only be able to get about 5. So I'd have a net loss of 7 lots. That's the main reason I did it. I wouldn't be 100% against other than timing. My site contractor has a window. If I'm going to have houses able to be built in the calendar year next year, I need to start my site work in September or October. I would be willing to entertain shifting what you see in blue towards the top of the screen and putting that entrance in between. You see the, let me go over.
I just think
Sixteen and 17, there's an existing gravel driveway between 15 and 16.
Right.
I would be potentially willing to lose some density and increase my lot cost and shift that road to where it came in between 15 and 16, which are those bottom two pink lots, and then continuing the state lots on down to the corner. The issue is I'm $48,000 and 4 months into designing this and ready to go. And if I don't get approval tonight and it gets kicked down the road, then I'm not starting houses until 2026. I'm a site contractor has another obligation he has to go to, and I will be building houses next year, which is not ideal at all to me. I think it misses the market and puts undue burden and cost on me. I would be willing, if approved with phase one like it is, I'd be glad to come back and do an amended plat where we slid 16 and 17 down to create an entrance there and just added those other estate lots as part of phase two. But again, I'm trying to make this subdivision a subdivision that's affordable, and my cost in these lots right here, as they are designed, what size they are now, is going to average only after I blend my low cost in phase one into the rest of the phases, you'll have $56,000 in those lots. So I'd love for them to be bigger, but make them double the size or double the price, and we're talking about $300+
But Terry, show me specifically what you're proposing, Shane.
I'm saying that this road and those lots right there, I could potentially put that road in between.
Just walk over there. I don't have a corner.
I could potentially shift this road here to this area right here. It would slide these two lots down to make room for this 50 feet, go through there. And then the area that would be opened up here, take those to more estate lots and let this entrance be less in front of your house and more in between your house and the neighbor's.
Well, but you have estate lots all the way on the front, is what you're talking about.
You would at that point have estate lots on the front, and you'd be looking at the front of new houses.
And then all the
versus
neighborhood
down
would
the
be
street.
behind that.
It would be. But again, that's thousands of dollars in redesign and time that I don't really want to have to do now and pump this thing a year down the road as a result. I'll stand here in a public meeting and tell y'all right now that if y'all wanted to say redesign it like that and we'll approve it, I'll do it. But
I think
I don't want to lose
No,
the
I'm not.
opportunity
Well-
to start construction.
Well, I know the engineers are working as Adam's group,
Adam Stubblefield, HS.
and I mean, they could redesign it pretty quick, I would imagine, just for that small spot.
They could, but
Because you gotta understand what I'm concerned about is the aesthetics across from my house. Because I'm fixing to have 24 houses, when you, not right now, when you get ready for them, I have 24 houses sitting across the street from me.
Yes.
And all coming out in the morning with the street right there. I mean, aesthetically, I think, to make everybody a lot happier if we have the state houses fronting the road and everything else is behind that, because that protects our properties on the front of that road, because what people are gonna see when they come through is our side of the road, the other side of the road, it's all state houses, whereas opposed to they come up to that first part, because we're already having trouble with some of the houses down below us not being maintained. Like it should be. I think we got one in the corner that's a rental house that currently is empty, a couple others that, you know, there's no codes to enforce that aren't kept up like they need to be coming through there. And I mean, it would decrease the density some, but it also would push back. My other question is, why did y'all not do an outlet to Glendale Road at the top, trying to bring those, all three of those lots?
I don't think that it's necessary. 2 outlets should be more than enough for the number of lots that are in there, especially when you look at how many connecting streets there are going sideways. There's ways for people to get out both of those entrances. Like I said, I don't want to not get approval on phase one as it is right now today, because as y'all know the process, it would take a month to redesign, and I would have to put it back in front of planning and zoning, which would be the following month. So I have the rest of this month to redesign. 15th of next month, it would have to be advertised, so I would not get into planning and zoning until September, public hearing in October, assuming everything goes perfect. I've missed my site contractor's window and this development kicks to 2020.
Kick it out another month because of the deadline for the September meeting.
Yeah, so, you know, I've been working on this diligently since about this time last year, and it's taken me this long to get everything designed and to this point. And, you know, I do understand the concerns. I personally don't think that it's an issue designed as it is, but I do, you know, want to get along with my neighbors. So if there was a way for me to get approval as is now and then file an amended preliminary plat for phase one that shifts 16 and 17 down to create an entrance to get to phase two later, I could do that as an amendment to phase one's approval, and wait on adding the additional estate lots instead of trying to go back and add more to the plat, leave it the same number of lots, just do an amendment to shift those two down. And then when I come to apply for phase two, incorporate those other 4 to 6 estate lots in phase two.
So you would still move this, okay, so you're still gonna talk about moving the street then, is that right?
The street would move to roughly where that gravel drive that we're driving in and out of goes to. Lot 17 and half, 3/4 of lot 16 on your house's side of that road. And the road almost goes down the property line between 15 and 16. So I use that existing drive going in to where that entrance to it or close to that existing drive. I'm looking at.
Because that's going back where that old house site was.
Pretty much. Give or take a few feet in each direction. But I would be willing to commit to do that as an amendment to phase one and then pick up those other estate lots in phase two if I could get approved and move forward now.
Okay, in the words of Ronald Reagan, trust but verify. How do I get verification that that's actually what happened? Is we can all sit here and talk.
Write me a contract on some personal guarantee.
Or can
I
you write
think
it?
we're talking about phase one now.
We are talking about
Okay.
Well, phase one, I am, but I'm talking about when we come to phase two, about, everybody's here saying that now, but then when phase two comes up, if we come back and say we're not gonna do it, I mean, how do I have any recourse that was discussed and this was?
saying it in a public meeting, and my reputation.
Because here's the other
precedes
thing.
me, and I've always done exactly what
Well,
I
here's
said.
the thing, I mean, because here's the problem, man, we got everybody sitting here, but if this takes 5 years for your phase one, in 5 years, I might have to talk to all the same people. I need something, either in the minutes or somehow, if y'all have any suggestions, how we can get
This
this.
would be really more personal agreement between you and not something that the city could enforce.
Promises that you want to.
That he's gonna do what he said about bringing the estate lots all the way down.
That's what, you're talking about all the way down to 30.
Well, all the way down, no, 30 goes is way down, he's just going to, because there's a house down there below the blue.
Yes, yes. It's only.
What he's talking about doing, let me make sure I'm real clear with you, Terry. Talking about moving this road here to about right here. I know where the gravel road is right there.
Right.
And then bringing the state lots all the way to here.
Correct.
And then developing back here. I guess the road will have to reroute into here to get to this. If we could just connect back to these lots. Basically, this lot line right here is gonna come down and get these estate lots right there. Am I looking at that right?
Yes, that is what I would not prefer to do, but what I would be willing to do if y'all are gonna turn me down.
Yes, Jared, so we're only doing phase one.
I understand.
Before then, obviously, whatever phase blue is there.
But he's gonna have to do an amended plat, he said, within how long we do it.
If they turn me down as designed and say that I will approve you if you do that, then I would immediately start that design because that affects.
Yeah, but I'm saying if tonight,
Well, I
well,
gotta have to do it in the short term anyway.
My question for Eric though is the one change to phase one he is proposing is to add that road between the
bottom two lots and road is down here, their next road there. Aaron, can we do that? The vote as an amendment to phase one?
And y'all go ahead and vote to do the amendment, is that what?
Phase one with an amended access road between them.
But what I'm asking Terry is when you do your, okay, but if you do the amendment, okay, because you haven't put in the notice for the phase two part of the problem, is that right? That's why we can't discuss and finalize that tonight.
Yes, nothing besides phase one.
Or applying for it.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying, I understand, it has to be public notice about what's going on in phase two.
Yeah, you would still retain the right to object to phase two. In fact,
Yeah.
he changes his mind about that, however, if he puts that road in up there, it seems to me that's some kind of revocable change this is going to require an overall redesign. Wondering if we put that one change, what, go a long ways towards
So y'all approve it amended with the road moved, is what you're saying?
with the road added between the bottom two lots and the
And I would ask that y'all consider approving it as is, and if you're not willing to approve it as is, so we make a motion to approve it with that. Because again, I appreciate his concerns and have some flexibility, or could have some flexibility, but it is not an ideal, design, or a need in my opinion. But if y'all aren't willing to give me approval based off of how it is, and you are based off of making it happy, I would go with the will of the board, but I would like for y'all's opinion to be given on as is and whether or not you approve it as is before we put that in the
That's the way it is before the board president. I'm not trying to suggest how the board should vote on any versions of it. I was filling out options to see what our options are.
Is it possible to approve it with the amendment like that, Eric?
The pending amendment, I guess it'd be approved.
I think they can give an additional approval.
When you say site work, you're talking about dirt moving and things like that.
That's clearing, grubbing, roads, infrastructure, as well as utilities.
So is that the only concern about the phase one that's in front of your house? Is that the only concern?
I'm not concerned about phase one. Phase one's not any of our concern, I don't think, because I know it's gonna go on there. What I'm concerned about is what's coming in the future, because you're putting such a high volume of vehicles that are fixing to be coming out of our road over the next several. And I'm worried about our property values too, because if you put those 24 houses across from me and people don't maintain them, I mean, that directly affects my property value.
That's why we'll have homeowner association and restricted covenants like every other development that I've done. And, you know, I've done nothing but add to property values in this town. The last thing I want to do, considering that I have a 7,000 square foot house that joins this property, is bring down my own property values as well. I'm fortunate to be in a position to where I've been successful and I can afford to live where I live, as have my neighbors. But not everybody can afford a $750,000 to $1.5 million house. And I don't think that myself or anyone else should have exclusive rights to live in an area and enjoy the wonderful things about our town just because they can't afford to buy that expensive of a home.
Dr. Farmer, are you asking these for phase one, those estate lots, to come all the way down to this property line?
That's not what we would prefer.
That's what I prefer, yes.
Okay.
But just for aesthetics, because when you come down Oxford Loop, I mean, when you come down and it's all estate lots on that road, it's gonna look, it's gonna be a lot better than the neighborhood will be behind it. So it'll give us some protection if people don't maintain anything back there, which I understand he's got covenants. I understand the people with the estate lots are gonna have a self-interest in keeping those people straight too. But the problem I've got is you're immediately fixing to put 24 houses directly across the street from me, not right now, but when phase two is approved. And I plan on being there. I've been there 15 years. I don't plan on going anywhere else. I'm kind of tired. I can't go anywhere else. I have my business here, and I'm here till, probably till they carry me out of the house. But at the same time, I'd like, my kids one day to have, what happens to me, my house still has its value. It hadn't gone down because of what was put in across the street. And I think I've talked with all our neighbors here. I mean, the concerns we have too are the volume of traffic. I really do have a concern about, because over time, that will be a problem first thing in the morning. I mean, because you're talking about a short road, and potentially right now you're talking about 300 vehicles coming through that road. And I'm telling you, trying to get out on 30 right now, the city, the other thing they did, they put a sign there saying no 18-wheelers. Before they put it, when you pull up, you can't even see up the road. It's a very dangerous intersection. And like I said, the 18-wheelers are coming through a lot because that's not being enforced with Munster Road as well. So I just am concerned about how much traffic is going to come through. But also for aesthetics from across from all of our properties, I think is what we're concerned about as well. Because, I mean, I understand Terry's needed. I'm not here hostile with Terry. I'm just here asking, could we adjust it some so that aesthetically, over time, everybody holds their value on it. I think, I'm not going to blow my own horn, but I think your houses, if they're looking across the street from my house as well, or what all of us have as well, across the street where our properties are well maintained. There's Benny, there's Chad, there's Alan Maxwell. We all maintain our properties very nice, and they don't have any worry about their property values being hurt because we're keeping up our properties. I think I'd like the same thing on the other side of the road.
That is why I don't have restrictive covenants and homeowners association. The price point of these houses is going to be in the 400s and up. I just personally believe for people in that valuable of the house will take care of the property, especially covenants, especially in the homeowner association. And I would note on the traffic that if you compare the traffic that comes in and out from the Magnolia Hill subdivision behind Walmart, the D. Robin subdivision that is directly next to this property, the north side neighborhood here, anything that is on the Houston survey, everything that I've just described is designed in the way that this subdivision was designed, and it has either subpar or equal traffic access. Now, I'm not trying to push the envelope or do something that's not already been done as a traditional form of development in town, and I'm not trying to do anything that is more dense than anything that you would see in Oxford, Tupelo, or surrounding areas. You'll find more dense in those areas, actually. I'm just trying to provide a product that multiple people in town, a larger proportion of people in the town can afford and be proud of it. Like I said, I understand the concern. I've noted the flexibility that I would have on phase one if that's possible, but it is 1,000% my intention to move forward with phase 1 through 6. And that's why I wanted to address all this at once, because I understand that it won't all go in at once, but it will never not be my intention to move forward with this entire subdivision in its entirety. The only way that I won't do it is if I don't get approval or the market won't stand it. But I feel like those people deserve to be able to have an opportunity to live in this town, send their kids to schools in this town, and be contributing members of our town. I love living there, and I want other people to enjoy it.
One other thing here. Really, first of all, it's up to Tim to say we're gonna move on to the next board. I'm not telling you to do that, but we're gonna do that. We have this one vote in front of us, and the way the ordinance is stated, that if the number of votes change from 3 to 4, you have 3%. I'll go ahead and tell you, we do have some question about whether Dr. Brown's house is qualifies and the person in writing. It's so close, it's hard to tell. He does have 3 other people here today. We're going to need to know at some point that these people object to phase 1 as it is proposed. And really going to comply with the ordinance. We need to have it writing. It's a single sentence.
Why is my house questioned?
I'll let Aaron explain that.
So the, can you pull that map back up here? From Glendale Road to the end of the estate lots of phase 1 is about 1,500 feet, 1,525. And your house measuring on the map is about, from your lot, the corner of your lot is showing at about 162 to 165 feet to that state lot. Ordinance says 160 foot,
Bottom line, it's so close we don't know.
and it would have to be surveyed to know.
Yeah. Tell you it is or it isn't. But I can tell you this, it does be objective, it's not really.
He still could write an objection, couldn't he?
I don't mind them putting it on there, but whether it requires 4 votes or 3 could become very important.
Okay.
Well, who else would qualify to object?
My understanding is you have this possible maximum.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's saying you got the right to object. We had to put it in writing, just one sentence. But if 3 object, am I right, Ray?
It changes the vote. You have to have a super majority if they're at 20% of the vote.
Of y'all voting.
That's right.
Okay. So it doesn't change that it wouldn't happen, it just changes how many have to vote.
You would have to take 4 instead of 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna work something out with Terry if we can work it out tonight. That's why I'm trying to figure out how we can do it. I mean, are y'all okay with if we can get a state lots on that frontage? Because I think it helps us with our property now. Kenny's got more invested in this than anybody because it's going all the way around him. I mean, I'm across the street, but it's gonna completely disrupt his house.
I've had a personal discussion with Kenny at my office today and have an understanding of some options that the 2 of us can move forward with that would alleviate, at least the issues that he expressed to me will alleviate those issues, to my knowledge. It may have changed some of that this morning, but I believe that, we can be able to come to a solution pretty easily. We've got multiple.
Terry, you've already indicated why you might be willing to work to, why you will work for it to have to. That's the generic thing, both this and all that. You have it drawn up, is that the way you want it?
That's the way I would prefer it to be presented, and if not agreeable that way, it be presented with the amendments, but, like I said,
Well, let me ask you this, Terry, if they approve phase, I mean, the only amendment is where the road's gonna be, is that right?
Mhm.
Can that be done with your site guy right now, the way it is, or do you have to go back to the drawing board for that?
to move that road, I would have to redesign the boundary of phase 1 and replat phase 1, that's why I would prefer not to have to do that, because that kicks it 4 or 5 months down the road. If it's as it is an amendment, I could get going on what I need to get going on, and then 4 or 5 months, file for that amendment and be done with it. But if I don't get the approval first and wait on the amendment, then we're at 2026.
Well, let me ask you this, Terry, are you saying that if they approve it as is, you will, or you do intend to do that?
If I would commit to that, but only if I get approval to move forward now, so that I can do an amendment and not waste time. I'm not agreeable to it if.
Can y'all put it in the minutes, so you
It's
I mean, can we have some, I need something in writing that's showing that we've had this conversation.
Well, it will be in the minutes, but,
on TV.
it's probably nature.
Okay,
It's also, yeah, that's, it's also.
that's fine.
So the other folks, so y'all agree with time?
This is what everybody else on the street wants, they want
That's what we need.
they want the amendment.
Yeah, we need to hear, you know,
Hear from y'all.
yeah, cause that,
Yeah, I think the amendment would be good for parents. And that would create a good relationship between y'all.
Well, I don't have a bad relationship, I'm just worried about having 24 houses right across the street from me, and Terry's not gonna be living in them, I mean, that's the thing, I mean, if Terry's living across the street from me, I'm fine, but at the same time, I don't know who those 24 houses are gonna be, and I've gotta deal with it every single day. And, the way the street, if you move the street up, it would come back, it would come less in front of my house and more towards between me and Benny, because I know where that gravel road is we're talking about.
Yeah, where it would be moved to be in between yards, but where it's coming out is not directly in front of your house, there's a little culvert, if you're looking at your house.
I know the culvert, because all the water from that side comes right through my yard.
It's closer to where that culvert is.
That's the other thing I may talk to you about, in the sidewalks, because all the water from your property is coming across me right now. Except where it drops off over on the other side.
There's multiple retention.
Do we have any objections to this board without any minutes?
Well, what I'm asking is that can that amendment not be included with the approval?
Well, if there's one to make it, but it's his request of the board, so I only need to say that.
Do y'all object to phase one as it is without doing anything? I think that's the question.
Or trying to figure out if he's speaking for all of y'all, or if you're all of different opinions, or if you're, if it's just his opinion, then we need to know more.
What he's, I think, Doc, what
You need all of us to object to the original.
We don't need that, but we need to know whether.
What y'all,
Yeah, just to be clear.
what y'all are thinking is what they.
Yeah, we're not asking you to fix,
They're asking if we're all on the same page with me, or if y'all, y'all don't necessarily
I'm on the
live
same
right.
page. I hope you have a state lots more than the small lots. We're the same page.
Ms. Laura, how about you?
Well, for his sake, I think the amendment, I agree with, I don't have any objection to those ones, except maybe for his sake. That one, that was for him.
Any?
Phase one, I have no real objection. I certainly understand.
didn't hear what Mr. Wells said.
Well, he says he's with me about having it with the state lots coming all the way down.
To see if the area.
So if I ask for it to be approved as is with the requirement that I
He's close to
phase
street.
one to put the entrance of phase two in between lots 15 and 16 instead of lot 17. If I were to say that I would do that, y'all would be happy and y'all would be able to vote and allow me to move forward immediately.
And on record, do we have that you're gonna agree to move us the state lots all the way down?
So I don't have to at that point, there's no other way to, I couldn't do the other lots because of the road there. I mean, we could write that, but it's impossible.
If we get approved this, I don't know how this will India will change, or however the one status for this versus policies with regards to those lots and that might have a profound effect on their ability.
Well, we can have a motion, or whoever wants to make the motion, that they make it with understanding.
Yeah, my question is it a enforceable contract? Some people, I don't know what it is.
Because my question is, if
You
you
can't make a
move the
contract
road,
with the board.
does that void the public notice that's been put out already?
I mean,
Because let me get back to this, okay? When y'all approving I may be understanding this wrong, which may make it easier for me and Terry to talk. He's asking for y'all to change the zoning of that piece of property from agricultural to, is it SL? SNT, okay.
But it's also for when plat approval as well as.
Okay, that was my next question. Is it simply changing the zoning, or is it, you have to do the plat as well, is what my
Yes,
question was.
that's
Yeah, so to move the road, what is that gonna take to get approved to have that done?
I'll have to redefine lots 16 and 17
How long would that
to the, like I said, that's for me to get it redesigned and reapplied through the normal process, 4 to 5 months. Whereas if I do it as an amendment, I've got approval to go through and work on the rest of it and then apply for this amendment.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So the amendment would come as a,
I would have to immediately after approval, I would be calling my site contractor tomorrow and say we have to redesign it. Phase one, that phase two, that we've approved for phase one, I gotta shift lot 16 and 17 down. I need a new legal description defining the new boundary of phase one. the new descriptions, lot 16 and 17, as well as the description of the easement that's going in there. They
So
were
would
redesigned.
would that hold up your moving forward with your site developer right now?
Yes, if I don't have approval.
No, if they approve it with the amendment.
If they approve it with amendment, no issues, I can move forward.
Okay, and then you could come back, but we're approving it with the amendment is how y'all gonna put it in the minutes.
I think whoever makes a motion, can make a motion with the amendment.
We approve it as he has put it forward. I'm just not 100% sure that it's I have a promise for him to make an amendment. If he does not, what I'm saying is, I think all half is to say, are we happy if that's dealt with respect to the remaining sections and phases, that one phase anymore.
So this would be a safe
My
way to
Because phase 2 has nothing to do with tonight.
Phase 2 will be approved or not approved by this board or another completely different board. And obviously, if you made some kind of deal tonight and didn't come through, then if they're all the same people, perhaps we wouldn't approve phase 2, but it could be a very different board.
But if I put in my request.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying
as
is, there's no way to enforce it.
change. And also that any future phases cannot be approved without the amendment. Phase 1.
Well, you can't bind the next board that way. They're not.
So could the motion be made pending the amendment?
Just to move the road.
Or just to move the road?
Just
If
to
he
move
moves
the
the
road.
road,
And
Well, that's
then,
the amendment,
just to move the road and not extend them, and then when phase 2 comes along, if y'all show up and he has it that way, you can say, no, we don't want it that way.
Now, I'm not adding any lots
Yeah.
to the amendment. I would just be shifting those 2 lots down
Yeah.
to allow for the road.
Like,
I wouldn't be
Yeah, it's
adding
the same area of
number of
land,
lots.
it's the same area of land, it's just where the road comes in. But that would force you, but then, okay, I understand that, what I'm trying to figure out is why we can't get it where, that's just understood, that's what's gonna be done.
And I would say that they're not gonna have a mechanism to do that, but that as your neighbor, you should trust me.
We can-
Well, I would trust, but I also understand that people have been measuring how far my house is from the road.
I didn't do that up there.
I had to do that.
I understand, but I also understand that's been being done, so it makes me a little bit, you know,
Yeah, that was not an attempt.
That's part of my job to make sure.
I think you already got 3 objections anyway, who, like it is.
Yours don't matter right now.
So my question is, first of all, whether it's enforceable or not, I'll let the board go ahead and approve it with that condition stated, and that's the way they want to do it. But for that to happen, I need to know, number one, does Terry want to present it that way? Because the first step, he doesn't want to have any conditions. If he's willing to present it as a condition, that way.
But he said he's willing to do that.
The other ones, after you said that, did pose an objection, so I am willing to
All right,
propose it.
so the next question is, do they withdraw their objections, so we know how to go?
I think, so now am I right, if y'all do what, like Dr. Frann want Terry to do, y'all are okay with it like that? Okay. But, well, then you withdraw your objection. You good with it?
I object, I just.
Oh, I know. I just wanna make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay, so that,
I've never not done anything that I said I would do here. My development career, my reputation's built on it. I learned everything I know from my dad. We had a long standing relationship with my dad.
well, I'll put it this way, I did a lot of deals with your dad with a handshake, because handshake was always good. So I wanna make sure I got the same handshake. If that makes sense. Because you know, when I came here, my first office was in this building.
Yes.
I lived actually in your grandmother's house, or the rental house my first year. So I had a long time. John and I did a lot of stuff by handshake, but we both stuck to it. That's what I want to know that I got here.
I
gotta have the opportunity to stick to it.
Eric and this board would be able to vouch for me that I've never not done anything that I was true. And I typically go above and beyond that.
So Reagan, do we need to make this motion with the amendment or?
I would motion to approve the plan, understand that he's going to find so that there's a road between the two lots.
I believe it's
15 and 16.
15 and 16. It could
Require-
be 16 and 17, it could be 14 and 15.
Jerry, how
Yeah,
long is
another
this,
access road,
how long, if
which
any,
would
is
also
this,
require extension on the south boundary.
how long is this potential amendment going to delay you?
If it's approved,
I
it shouldn't
don't
delay
get
it at
some
all.
sort of approval till 2026.
If we approve it with the amendment, is that gonna?
It doesn't delay it at all.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, you can, cause all you're gonna do is.
The only thing it would affect,
Go back to Adam, they're gonna re-engineer just the road, is what you gotta do.
The only thing it would affect is I couldn't build on lots 16 and
17,
17.
yeah, it would affect
until the
them in
amendment
lots.
was fully approved.
if he had one of them sold, it would affect them.
Right.
Are you okay with that?
So are you only amending dividing the road, or are you going to go ahead and just take the lots all the way down?
If y'all would like for me to add the estate lots into phase one and have that as part of the amendment, I'd be glad to do that. That's just
Less you have to do in the future.
Phase two. Right. Because there's always the chance that, and hopefully not, there's always a chance that this development doesn't take off and it doesn't go past phase one. So, yeah, I would probably rather in the amendment go ahead and include moving the road and adding the rest of them in phase one. That way, if it stalls out after phase one, our road frontage is taken care of. I've got 2 entrances to get back and all those.
All right, who wants to make a motion to that effect?
So I make a motion, I make a motion that we approve phase one with the amendment to move the road between lots 15 and 16.
And he said there, little question.
Between 15 and 16 or
Sure.
14 and 15.
Yeah, I can't remember, I think it's gonna be.
You would add an access road.
Add an access.
Then bring the
Cause I know,
state lots.
yeah, 'cause I know that's running straight from the house.
Make all the state lots on that frontage. Add an access road at least as far south as 14.
Yeah, that.
And,
You know where the,
and adding however many estate lots fit between, where it stopped and that other property.
do you think it'd be like 4 or so?
Be 4 to 6, I'd get out there and measure. It'll be 100-foot wide, so
Put a time preference on this as far as submitting the plans there. Hundreds, basically.
more than. Right, we're past next month's meeting, but I could get in the following.
Yeah, the next month's meeting is already booked, so.
But 120 days would be more than enough time to.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah, that's 4 months. That's, if I miss 2 meetings, I'd still have 2 months. Zoning and public hearings. Yeah, 120 is fine.
but this is not going to affect you other than.
Other than 16 and 17.
This one will allow you to start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Is there a timeframe on changing this, what you originally asked for? By Keith's motion,
Y'all can override the zoning board, so.
Want to approve it. We have to
We can do it
go
now.
ahead and approve it.
Could you override the public hearing since everyone that would be at that public hearing is already here?
I think if you submit the Barrick and it's formed for 7 days, I would be fine if you just, because it's important, makes it more aware, and we'll have to have.
I think the zoning's covered because it says the 800 block, and we're not going past 800 numbers on the zoning, you know, if it goes on down the road, so, and the signs are out, and it covers,
Covers all.
Covers all.
it covers enough.
That'll make, he's going to Terry to do this since he's making the adjustments.
Thanks.
Is Keith's motion sufficient, right? In your mind, you did include the 120 days, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do we have a
Everything that
second?
Reagan just said, he makes that
Do
motion.
we have a second, what Reagan just said?
Yes, I'll second.
All right, Drew, second. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Part of that, second.
We do run this in the newspaper before meetings, you know, some changes.
Draw a crowd.
Yeah, get time to read.
All right, so move on to Departmental Business bill.
Your board's got some deals to pay most of. The first one is, pay request Atwell engineering for, design and construction administration work on our communication system project for the month of July. $79,515.93.
A motion by Will to have a second, second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The second item is to, approve pay request for Irby Utility Services. It's for, material used, material received during the month of July for the communication system. That amount, yeah, I did not send that update, Mr. Frankie, is $445,534.26.
All right, do we have one? Motion by Drew, have a second. Second by Will, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item is a pay request to Grace Power Supply. That's the group that's doing the construction work on the communication system. This is for their first design area. The application will be for $356,527.
Okay, motion by Keith, do I have a second? Second by Parks, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item are for invoices to Mitsubishi Electric. These are for some long lead time items that we ordered for the new substation. You know, we since paused construction on that, trying to catch up with some grant opportunities with TVA. Again, these items were already ordered before we paused the construction. First invoice is for $84,327, and the second one is for $159,702. And these for circuit breakers that will be used at the substation once we present construction.
Got a motion by Will to have a second. Second by Drew, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Here, item 5 is we have to create a new entrance to an easement we have across the road for the new substation. Steelcon got the bid to create that entrance, that do some fence work and some other things over there. The amount of that project was $32,400. That's Steelcon.
Motion by Drew, do we have a second? Second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
I briefed you all about the need for this memorandum of understanding. It's kind of an odd deal, but it's a memorandum between the mayor and the board. Basically to commit money, it's got these MCWI projects. That's basically ARPA match money that we got awarded. We have an original ARPA pool that we spent some money from. We had projects planned. Then we got match money from the state that kind of helped us do additional projects. We've approved the Bratton Road lift station project. We want to do a new well at East New Albany and water line replacement on the north side. We did not get any bids on East New Albany wells, so we're having to shift our focus on the water line replacement to the north side. We need to have all that done by August 31st. So this is gonna, before we get the new design done on all the water line replacement, that's gonna push beyond August. So for us to secure that money and make sure it doesn't get hauled back from the state, we have to have this MOU in place between the mayor and the board. Basically says we're gonna make sure we spend that money within the time frame, which basically we have to have it obligated by end of 26. Yeah. But have it obligated by.
I don't know when the student date is.
But anyway, it just makes sure, and we'll have this done within a couple of months. But this just says the board's committed to getting that money obligated and spent by the end of 26.
Motion by Will, second by Keith. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the last item we have our right-of-way tractor is at the end of life. We have found a tractor on the state contract through Way Equipment. It's a John Deere 6110M. Again, this is state contract price on the tractor, $124,193.12. We would like to purchase that from Wade Equipment.
Motion by Drew, do I have a second? Second by Parks, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
I'm gonna turn the rest of this over to Will.
All right.
Look out, I've got an engagement. Okay.
We didn't sing happy birthday to you before you go? Offers off the top.
Okay, application, item number one is, request the board to approve pay request to McClure Construction. This is, pay request number 5, the amount of $14,598.49 for work completed at the municipal court building.
Motion by Will, second by Keith, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 2 is, request board approval to pay M&N excavators for payout number 1 on the Sportsplex Access Road. It is, in the amount of $30,431.
All right, motion by Parks, do I have a second by Keith? Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 3, request board approval to pay M&N excavators for pay request number 2 on the Sportsplex Access Road in the amount of $41,376.75.
Motion by Drew, do I have a second? Second by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
The last item is the request board approval for striping of the overlaid routes recently completed in town for not to exceed amount of $22,000 per route.
Motion by Parks, do I have a second? Second by Drew. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mayor, I am gonna let y'all sing out 3 dollars.
Well, thank you.
I forgot something. Actually, it's kind of down the list, in the action items, it's the, lease agreement for the police station. There it is. I want to go ahead and get that out.
What's on board, glad you done my.
Where is that? Yeah, you know, we actually talked about this last year during the, budget cycle, and we got all the TPA's got a formula we had to go through to establish the rent for the TPA, and we established kind of how that money will flow between us and the city. The amount of that monthly rent is $8,436.79. Got with Reagan and had put together a formal lease agreement. You know, it kind of leaves all the TPA requirements. And again, just kind of a formality that they need to get in place. So I guess I would.
You're not saying the police department, I think, about that.
No, they're not delinquent. Yeah, we're mutually delinquent. There is some money that's got to swap back and forth. Once we get this through, we'll get with just Frankie next couple of weeks and get all that squared up. Okay. But again, it is all, everything's in order. We just got to get this reality out of the way.
Got a motion by Drew, have a second. Second by Will, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Now you know.
Now
Thank y'all.
Community development, Mr. Jean.
I have one short request. I mailed my report to you earlier in the day. Approval to place Chandler Rogers to the CLG board, Preservation Board, as a new board member.
Is he replacing somebody or is it just an addition?
5, Betsy's gonna roll off and he's gonna replace her.
All right, motion by Keith, do I have a second? Second by Will, any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Jill, is she gone?
Yes.
All right, police department.
Mayor Board, I got an application from Pastor Tony Sanford to be put in the minutes as one of our chaplains. He is formerly with Golden Gate as one of assistant pastor, and now he's with Vineyard Outreach and Ministries. We work with him several times. From time to time, we need to have chaplains be able to either go with us or come to where we're at. So he's asked for a request to be one of those.
Good guy. Parks, got a motion? I'm second, by Will. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Park and Rec, Jason.
All right, thank you, Mr.
This is look good.
Fire Department.
I've got just a couple of personnel moves I need to approve. Okay. First of all, need to accept the resignation of Ethan Robbins. Ethan is a full-time employee right now, and he is leaving the fire service altogether. He's going with Caterpillar, but he does want to remain with us part-time, and I'm going to ask to keep him on for part-time.
Motion is accepted.
There you that, accept the resignation, be more part-time, got a
That's my motion.
Keith. Second, by Drew, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And with that opening, I'm going to ask that we approve the hiring of Jonathan Channing Lackey. Actually, this will be he's already a part-time employee with the city. He works for Chase, the Park Commission. So I'm going to rob the Park Commission if I can. Channing came, he lives in Union County. He's originally from South Pontotoc. He went to Mississippi Delta Community College where he played baseball. Came back here and worked for Chase. For him to go from part-time.
Do you know about this, Jay?
Oh, yeah, he called me. I would have made sure. Yeah, Chase actually called and said, hey, I've got one that I'd like to send you away if you don't mind. So he's coming with the recommendation from Chase, and I'm going to go back and get a few more. So I need
You won't get many, I tell you.
Not this time of year.
I want the approval to hire Channing, full-time firefighter.
Motion by Will, I have a second. Second by Drew, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Last thing, I need to move Holden Little from probationary firefighter to firefighter 2. He finished the academy.
Motion by Will, I have a second. Second by Keith, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. That is.
Yeah, Eric told me to keep it short.
Thank you, buddy. Well. All right, street department, Johnny needs approval to purchase a vehicle. And, we got, all right, we got the state contract on this page. I'm gonna pass it now. And then, Byron Irby from, Fort Place Supervisor matched the state contract. And he had one on the lot. So, Johnny's looking for approval to purchase that vehicle. For $45,395. Yeah, the state contract, right? Oh, Eric, what'd you print that out? You printed it off the state.
That's state contract.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll make that.
All right. All right. Who made the motion?
We just need to like you spread this.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Appreciate it.
We also need,
Yeah.
well, let's have permission to, for that person side by side for the lowest quote.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mark, do I have a second? Second by Drew, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Johnny,
I appreciate
you got anything else you need?
No, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Ray want me to shoot a free throw over, I can't.
Not for free.
So I'm gonna go sit down. Appreciate it, guys. As a citizen, I'll say you've done a fine job repaving some roads.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Great.
Oh,
I'm saying that.
building inspector, we're gonna try to show you.
Yeah. We got the striker coming.
Yeah. putting something on TV?
No, I'm just trying to get that off somebody else. I sent a monthly report. We had 2 requests at the zoning meeting. One was from Victory Church at 104 North Denton, which is the old quality car building, for a conditional permitted use for a private school. It was approved. And then a request from John Stroud at 924 Sam Tom Barker Drive for a variance on the parking lot requirements.
All right, anybody got any questions or discussion on that? Either one of them?
So I got 12 purchasing these trucks. Y'all on the road?
Oh. I think we have money.
We can have one little,
next time.
just be two.
All right, unless anybody got any questions, consent agenda, it'll stand. Let's get moving this action agenda. Anybody got anything on storm shelter? All right, let's go item B, authority to publish notice of public hearing for budget. Does that have to be starting on the 30th? 9:30? Okay. Okay, so, well, we need authority to, yeah, publish those.
Yeah.
All right, we got a motion by Will, second by Keith, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item C is approved new bank account at B&A Bank for municipal court transactions.
We're gonna start collecting, so we're gonna have to separate out for that.
Now, we got a motion by Keith, now a second, approved. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Bill item E, approve final order for tax exemption from ad valorem taxes. Can we do all these at once, Ray?
I'm sure you do.
Okay. And that's Albany Industries, Fusion Furniture Plant 2, Fusion Furniture Plant 3, VIP Luxury Seating, Premier Foam, Dunn Utility, Custom Line 9 year and Custom Line Woven 10 year.
9 year. 5 year late, they lost.
Oh, okay. So these two expired at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, approve final order for tax exemption from Homestead LLC. What is this?
The homestead is right, the other two aren't, they don't spot the same.
Okay. What are you saying, we do all the rest of them, they don't fit, sir?
No, they're all together.
All right. Need a motion by Drew, second by Will, any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And, we have a motion to go on executive session. You gotta read.
I've got a real brief personnel.
Okay. For personnel reasons. I got a